Hello everyone and welcome back to Dusty Tunes. So 2026 is the 100th year of Black History Month being honored here in the United States. So of course I will be celebrating extra hard this year, and I also plan on making several videos revolving around Black representation in animation. So there is no question that throughout history Black Americans have been underrepresented as well as poorly represented in pretty much every form of media ever created, especially animation. Being used as a form of mockery was the origin of Black Americans in early cartoons, often being portrayed as unintelligent, lazy, and unattractive. Nothing about being Black was seen as desirable through this sort of representation, including being part of a Black American household. The thing is, Black families in America weren't even really properly introduced to animation until like 1970 when series like Fat Albert hit the television screen. And since then, we have only gotten sprinkles of Black families in animated series. And the thing is, not all of that has been positive representation. Now, don't get me wrong, representation does matter, but contrary to common belief, not all representation is good representation. In fact, some forms of representation can be more detrimental than beneficial to certain communities. It's something we've seen time and time again. Now, through television and film, we have seen displays of extremely unhealthy Black family dynamics that not only continue to support harmful stereotypes that have been forced upon us as a people, but are also just a very unrealistic generalization of Black families altogether. So why exactly is positive representation for Black American families so important? Again, this should be common sense, but there's multiple reasons, and we're going to go over them. So firstly, it's about Black American children being able to see not only their families represented in cartoons, but to also see healthy family dynamics from people that look just like them. Secondly, when society and even other Black Americans paint Black families as being overly chaotic and dysfunctional, this is the sort of portrayal that sticks with us as a community. And again, it's one of those forms of detrimental representation. Third, the realistic highs and lows, the hardships, the joys, everything in between, all of that stuff. These are the sort of things that any group of people wants to see in regards to family dynamics that represent their group of people, their ethnicity, their cultural group, whatever it may be. We only ever want to see ourselves being represented in the most positive light possible. Unfortunately, this doesn't happen. Not to mention the constant repetition of struggle love, neglectful parents, and the overly dysfunctional Black American family. This is just a subgenre that is completely played out at this point. And I call it a subgenre because there is literally so much of it out there. Stories that end tragically, families that just never heal over time, romance that just seems to come at a much greater cost. This is the outcome for Black characters, whether it's Black children, Black adults, Black couples, or Black families. It's just something that we as a community don't need any more of. Now, I do feel like it's important to note that representation for Black American families has gotten slightly better with the rise of Black directors working directly with series and films representing us more properly this time around. But to see multiple healthy Black families being represented across multiple networks simultaneously is basically unheard of still. We have examples like Little Bill, The Proud Family, Craig of the Creek, Young Love. These are series that exist and did exist, but within multiple networks and never during the same time periods. It is still important though that these shows existed because this is the sort of representation that Black Americans, whether it's adults, children, or elders, deserve. It's just a shame that we have to wait so long just to get one sample of a healthy Black family dynamic. With all that being said, as Black History Month continues to roll on, and even after it's over, it's important to note, even after it's over, please, it's important to recognize the sort of content that is meant to degrade and minimalize Black Americans. Yes, it still exists. Yes, it's still out there. And unfortunately, some of it is still being created and produced by other Black Americans. I know, when are we gonna break the chains? When are we gonna move past this era of just creating just tragic struggle stories for our own people? I don't know. But it's also important that no matter how you identify yourself, no matter your ethnicity, your race, your nationality, that you continue to support the content that accurately portrays Black American families and every family. Being able to be represented in a positive light is a privilege that not all communities get. Believe me, if you are part of a marginalized group, you know this. Not all representation is good representation. It's important that you be able to point out the sort of content that lifts people up and the others that lift people, or that don't lift them at all. Like, they're not getting lifted at all. They're actually getting pushed down. It's just important that we as consumers of media are very intentional with the sort of things that we support, that we engage with, that we spend our time with, because it could be potentially harming other people in the process of our own enjoyment. So with all that being said, go watch something with a healthy Black family. Go do it. I guarantee you there's good ones out there. I hope that everyone is having an amazing Black History Month so far. To all of my fellow Black people out there, you are amazing. You are stars. You deserve to be represented in the best way possible, because we are also worthy of that. With all that being said though, again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. I will be putting out another video soon, but until then, be safe, have fun, and have a good day. See you guys in the next one. Bye!